Right, I know some of you have already done the last, the wee short session in Microsoft Word. So if you don't mind, I'm going to run through some of the shortcuts for those of you
No
who
problem.
haven't actually been on the last course. Now, one of the first things that we did the last night was to adjust one of the settings in Microsoft Word. Now, the setting that we're going to adjust, just bear with me 1 wee second, I'm going to put it back to the default, okay? So now, okay, you'll notice that I have misspelled the word hello there, okay? And you'll also notice that Microsoft Word hasn't identified it as being a spelling mistake. So there's a problem there in that one of the default settings is that it ignores words in uppercase. All right?
Yeah.
Now, bear with me. I'm going to, are you all okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to mute you all a wee second. You all can unmute yourselves at any time. Anything that pops up, any questions, please do unmute yourselves and don't be afraid to shout, okay?
Okay.
Now, okay, that's you unmute, you all muted. Unmute yourselves at any time. Right, so you'll notice that the Word hasn't, or Microsoft Word hasn't identified this as being misspelled. So say one of the settings, default settings, has switched the option off. So we're going to go to the File tab, go to File. We're going to go to Options. This is called the Backstage View. We're then going to go to Proofing. And you'll notice that there is a tick in the box where it says ignore words in uppercase. Now, for some strange reason, that has been one of the default settings that it has been switched on. Now, that's obviously a male thing. I can be as sexist as I like tonight because there's only one man present, so just joking, Alan, that's not fair. So we're going to remove that tick where it says ignore words in uppercase and just okay that. Now, you'll then notice that the word has been identified as being misspelt. Now, as I say, I've said that in the past, that can be a problem where you're maybe typing out headings in a report or that, and you're assuming that once you run the spell check that everything is correct, and it's actually not. So I want you all to do that on your own computer when you get back to it. So the other setting I want you all, again, it's a setting that I like switched on, and that's simply your ruler bar on your page. So view, and sorry, I have a toolbar here, I'm just pulling to one side. If we go to the show group, there's a little tick. Now again, by default, that ruler is switched off. I'll just switch it off. Do you see? Now I have to, for me personally, I always have to work with a ruler on. So I'm going to switch the ruler on again. And again, that's a setting that I would strongly recommend that you all apply to your own Microsoft Word documents. Now, literally just to recap on some of the shortcuts that we did on the previous session, Microsoft Word. So I'm going to key in a wee code that will generate some text, and it's the word RAND, short for random. It doesn't matter if it's an uppercase, lowercase, it's not case sensitive. Open bracket, and I'm going to be putting numbers in here, so I'm going to say 6, separated by a comma, say another 6, close bracket. Now, that's going to generate random text, 6 sentences and 6 paragraphs. So if I press the Enter key, the text is generated there. So first shortcut we're going to use is the Control and A. Control and A is select all. Okay, we've got to press the space bar. Your text disappears. We're going to use the shortcut for undo. Control and Z for undo. We'll undo and reverse the last action. we'll use the shortcuts for aligning your text horizontally across your page. You'll notice that the default alignment is that your text is left aligned and has what's called a ragged right margin. Now, let's say I want to align all my text to the right-hand side. Well, the first letter for right is R. Using the control key, hold the control key down, press the letter R, and that will right align my text. If I want to adjust the alignment back to the left align, I'll do Control and L for left align. If I want to make my text nice and even on both sides, I'm going to justify my text. So Control and J for justify. See the way it's nice and even down the right hand side. Now, having said that, I personally would justify a lot of my documents simply because I think they look that wee bit better. The experts claim that unjustified text is easier for people to read than justified text, but again, it is a personal choice. Now, if I want to center my text, the shortcut for center is not Control and C. As you all know, Control and C is copy. So in this instance, we use the last letter of the word, which is Control and E. So that is center your text. We're going to adjust our line spacing. We're currently using single line spacing. So I'm going to apply double line spacing. So it'll be Control and 2, double, Control and 1, single. Now, I really shouldn't mute you all. I should really test any of you that did the last session to see how much of this you actually remember. So that was your line spacing. Now, do you remember the shortcut to change the case of your text, whether it be uppercase, lowercase, or sentence case? So that's your Shift key and the F3 key. You hold the Shift key down and one gentle press of the F3. Notice my text has appeared in uppercase. If I do the same shortcut, Shift and F3, my text is now in lowercase, and Shift and F3 again. My text is in sentence case where the first letter of each sentence is capitalized. So that's some of the shortcuts for your alignment and change case. Your standard ones for your...
Patricia, can I just check?
Sorry. Yes, sorry.
Say the Shift key you're talking about. Which one is that?
The Shift key is the one below the cap locks.
Oh, yes, okay, okay. Yeah,
is that okay? Please shout anytime, okay? So that's the Shift and F3. And if any of you have Microsoft Word open at the minute, try this while I'm talking. Now, in terms of formatting, your standard, your bold, Control and B for bold, Control and I for italic, Control and U for underline. Now that will apply the formatting. To undo the formatting, you simply use the same shortcut. So if I want to remove the underline, so it's Control and U, Control and I, Control and B. How's that? Will you remember all those shortcuts? Folks, would you remember to ask me for a sheet of shortcuts? I don't know if I said that to you last night or not. I have a sheet of shortcuts for Microsoft Word as well. So just shout, drop me an email afterwards and ask me for them, and I'll email them to you and set them aside your computer. So that's a few of the wee shortcuts there. Now, any of those options you will find up on the ribbon. Now, I'm just going to delete my text here. Now, let's say I'm going to be doing, say, a poster, and I'm going to say car for sale. We'll say it's £5,000. Okay, I'm using Control and A to select all. I'm going to my font group. I'm using my increase font size button. I'm not going to the font size box to choose a font size. I'm using the A with the up arrow on it. And I can see as I'm increasing how big my text is, and rather than going in and guessing. Right, so let's say I've done a poster, the car's for sale, okay? Couldn't get rid of it. This bloody pandemic, just nobody's buying cars these days, so I'm going to have to reduce the price. So I'm going to put in a new price, so we're going to reduce the price down to 3,500. So we're going to highlight the 5,000, and what we're going to do here, we're going to apply a strike through. Now again, this is just from the font group here, and it's the VAB with a line through it. So if I click on that, that's the strike through. Now folks, that's really useful if you're filling in a form, somebody sent you a form, you've got a yes no option and you want to strike through one of them. Okay, all happy enough for that? Now this is really just to identify tools that are already up on the ribbon, where previous and older versions you had to go into an extra option or an extra menu. So I'm going to do Control and A to select all, and I'm going to press the delete key to remove my text. Now, for those of you that were with me the last session, I'm going to unmute you a wee second. Why am I going to use the delete key and not the backspace key?
Because if you use the backspace key, you will still have that font size.
Brilliant, brilliant, well done, well done. Somebody was listening. Okay, and again, for those of you that weren't in the last wee session, I identified that there is a difference when your text is highlighted, whether you use your backspace key or whether you use your delete key. So that's basically what I'm asking. So if I Control and A to select all. Now, if I use my backspace key and start typing hello, okay, Microsoft Word has retained the formatting. It deleted the text using the backspace key, but retained the formatting. Control and Z to undo. Now, I'm going to use the delete key. So if I type hello, you see the formatting as well as the text is gone. So it is important that you do use the delete key where you do want to remove the formatting. Now, I'm going to put in, say, a wee list. We're going to the Builders Merchants tomorrow, and I have a wee list. Okay, you will all be sending me the number of a local psychiatrist after this session tonight. So what we're going to do here, we're going to highlight the number 2 and the number 3 beside the meter. So we're really doing 40 meters squared, 60 meters cubed. So I'm going to highlight the 2 first of all. Now, folks, I can highlight the 3 as well at the same time, simply by holding the Control key down. So I have my Control key held down. I'm going to bring my I-beam just in front of the 3, hold the mouse button down and drag across. Do you see the way the 2 and the 3 both are highlighted? So again, just going to the font group, I have 2 commands here. I have Superscript, which means above the line, and Subscript, which means below the line. So I'm going to apply Superscript to raise my 2 and my 3 above the line, okay? If I'm doing the like of H2O extinguisher or that, I maybe want to use the subscript where I put the symbol below the line, and that's we have the X, the wee 2 below, and it's called subscript. See the way they're below the line? Now, that's using the commands from the font group here. Now, I'm going to delete that. Control and A to select all and press the delete key. Now, have any of you ever looked at your keyboard and wondered what the Alt key was for, other than Control, Alt and Delete to reboot? Right, I'm going to show you a purpose for the Alt key here. Now, Alt stands for alternative. Now, I'm going to use the Alt key and numbers using the number keypad on the right-hand side here. So I'm going to hold the Alt key down. I'm going to press 171 on the number keypad and let go my Alt key. And what I get a half, don't I? Right, I'm going to hold the Alt key down again. 172 and let go. Hold the Alt key down. 248 is your wee degrees. I'm just pressing the Enter key each time to go on the separate line. Alt 253. Folks, years ago I would have worked in an architect's office and I used these symbols on a daily basis. So these were ones that I had to learn, that I had to remember. So these are alternative keys. Now again, there are dozens and dozens of these, but I'll show you how you can actually use them or how you can get familiar with them. Now, let's say that you have somebody working with you in the company or organization, and we're very multicultural in this country now. We have Spanish, we have Lithuanians, we have Italian, Portuguese, Polish, etc., etc. And they all have their own unique little symbols with names. So if I go to the Insert tab here, I'm going to go over to Symbol and I'm going to go to More Symbols. Now, I'm going to change the font here. The font I have, my default font in my Word document is Arial. So I'm just going to keep it as Arial. Now, if I scroll down, let's say I'm looking, for example, that wee A with the two wee dots over it. If you look at the very bottom here, do you see where it says shortcut key, Alt 0228? Okay, so I'm going to cancel that a wee second. So I'm going to hold the Alt key, 0228, let go. That okay? Now, that's for like grave accents, for Spanish characters, Italian, Portuguese, Russian, etc., etc. You can get them all in there in terms of the symbol, but you can also use the Alt key with the number keypad. Now, if you have anybody, say in your workplace that maybe has an Irish name and maybe has a fada over one of their letters. So for example, if I type the word Sinead, now you'll notice on the new keyboards, you also have a key to the right of your space bar. It's an Alt-GR key. That's called alternative graphic. Now, if I hold that Alt-GR key down, and if I press the letter A, watch what happens. Okay, that'll work as a fada or it'll work as a grave or accent, whichever way around. So I'm going to press the Enter key. If I hold my Alt-GR key down, I'm going to do A, E, I, O, and U. A lot of people don't even know you can use that in terms of doing those symbols. Again, ask me for the sheet of your Alt keys and identify ones that you maybe would use, maybe where there's people's names, where you want to use their characters and you want to use the proper characters. I would tend to, if I ever receive an email and or anything from a person maybe, and there is a character, you know, a special character, I would always try and use that when replying to the people. So that's your alternative keys. So I'm going to do Control and A to select all, press the Delete key just to remove that. Right, I'm going to zoom out a wee bit here a wee second. So I'm going to make a poster and I'm going to say closed for lunch. Okay, I've just used Control and A to select my text. I'm going back to the Home tab. I'm going to increase my font size. Now, let's say I want to center that text. You all know how to center text horizontally using the center or Control and E, the shortcut. But how do I center my text vertically on the page? Now, most of you, I guarantee, would be guilty of pressing the space bar, or pressing the enter key, not the space bar, the enter key, and moving your text down and hoping for the best. Would that be right? You all, you all guilty of that? Anybody not guilty of that? Oh, right. Now, I say most people do. Now, I'm going to show you how to center your text vertically on the page. You know how to do it horizontally. Using the shortcut Control and E, or going up to the paragraph group and using the center command. Now, I'm going to highlight my text. Sorry, I'll mute you all the wee second. Now, I'm going to highlight my text. Now, I'm going to go to the Layout tab here. And from my page setup group, I'm going to click on the little dialog launcher. Now, if I go to the Layout tab, the default alignment of text is always top. I'm going to choose center. But imagine that text was maybe the first page of a report. Maybe you have like health and safety report, and the rest of your text you want normal alignment. So at the bottom where it says apply to, it currently says whole document. I'm going to change from whole document to selected text and OK that. No more pressing the enter key and guessing where the middle of your page is horizontally. Now, as I say, that's useful if you are doing like a cover page with other pages within the document. So you can center that both vertically and horizontally. Now, we will be coming back in there later to do a couple other things. You all okay with that? Now, how many of you would use columns? Do any of you use columns within Microsoft Word?
Yeah.
You would use them? Good, good. Right, well, I'm going to do a couple of things just with columns here. Now, I'm going to open a wee document I have here. Okay, it's just a wee positive story. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all, right, I'm getting rid of the second page here. So I'm going to highlight my heading here, positive thinking. This is all just 11, Arial 11. So I'm going to increase the font size of my heading, say about size 20. I'll make it bold, and again, using the shortcut, I'll center it. Okay, so I'm happy enough with my heading centered. I'm just muting everybody again, sorry. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight the rest of my text, and I'm going to place it in like a 2-column newspaper style option. So I'm going to go to my layout again. I'm going to go to columns. Now, I'm not going to choose my columns from here because I want a couple other options. So I'm going to say more columns. I'm going to say I want 2 columns, but I want a line between the 2 columns. And I'm going to OK that. Now, I'm not finished yet. It's still a bit boring looking. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to highlight the first letter of the text within the first column, and I'm going to apply a drop cap to that first letter just to add a wee bit more interest to it. So I'm going to go to the Insert tab here, and over in the text group we have drop cap. So if I click on the Add Drop Cap command, I'm going to choose dropped. How's it looking? It's looking a bit better than it was, isn't it? Now, I want to maybe put, say, a border around my page just to add a wee bit more interest to it. So I'm going to go to my design.
Patricia,
Sorry,
I'm not sure if it's just me, but I've still got the original page closed for
sorry,
lunch.
sorry, my fault for not sharing that.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all Vi, sorry. Yeah.
Right. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to undo all that. Would that be okay?
Yeah, please.
No problem. So there's my original document. Okay. So it's just a, I suppose, a wee positive story. So first thing I'm doing is increasing the font size of my heading. Make it bold and center. I'm going to highlight the rest of my text. I'm going to the Layout tab. I'm going to Columns. And I'm going right down to the bottom where it says More Columns. Number of columns, I'm going to change that to 2. I'm going to place a line between the 2 columns. Now, I can change the spacing if I like, but 1.27 is fine. So I'm going to simply OK that. Looking a bit better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just leave an extra space. Now, this is where I'm going to highlight the first letter of the first column to add a drop capital, just to give that wee bit more interest. So I'm going to the Insert tab. In the text group, I'm going to add drop cap. I'll just get my wee spotlight again. So that's my drop cap. So I'm going to use the second one in. Looks a bit better, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're going to do a page border. I'm going to do a plain page border. I don't like anything too mad. So if we go to the Design tab, Page Border. Now, I'm just going to use a plain box border. Now, you can change the line style or the line thickness of your box border. So these are all the styles. If I just go down a wee bit, maybe choose a wee double line. Okay, now you'll see a wee preview over here on the right hand side and simply OK that. Well, how does that look?
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit better, isn't it?
Yeah.
So say that's using newspaper style column. Now, the one thing that I tend to do with the likes of this, again, this is me being me, I prefer where you have columns that your text is justified. I always think it looks a wee bit better. So I'm going to justify that. Well, look all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if any of you were doing, say, like a wee three-fold brochure where you have like 3 columns, what program would you all do it in? Do you know what I mean in terms?
Maybe Canva.
What would you use?
I started using Canva for designing things.
Canva is brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love it. I would do most of my stuff, all the, Facebook promotional stuff in Canva and that. But if you had Microsoft Office and you were doing like a wee 3-fold brochure, a lot of people tend to go into Publisher for it. But you can do it just as well in Microsoft Word. And all you do is literally create a new blank document, change the landscape, and then do exactly what I did in terms of the columns and do 3 columns. Now, if you're doing that in Microsoft Word, a word of advice, folks, with your margins on the outside, I'll just open a new blank document and you can see what I'm on about. So I'm going to open a new blank page and I will share it with you. Okay, so if I change, I'm going to go to layout and orientation and landscape. Okay, so if I'm going to do my three columns for a threefold brochure, I would tend to go to margins, custom margin, and I would change maybe the outside margins, top, bottom, left, and right to 1 each. Okay, now I've just used my tab key to move through from top to bottom and just over typed and okay that. Now, if I'm adding my columns at this point, if I go to columns, more columns, and if I say 3 columns, I would always put in terms of spacing between the columns, put in twice as much spacing between columns as you have for your outside margin. And that allows for the fold of the actual document there. So if I have 1 centimeter outside margin, I would put spacing of 2 centimeters there and okay that. See? Now, let's say I have put something in the first column and I wanted to leave it, maybe just put a picture and maybe wanted to move to the second column. If you hold your control key, your shift key, hold them both down, press the enter key. That gives you a column break and that takes you to the next column. If you want to move again, control shift and enter will give you a column break and move you over to the next column. Now, I'm going back to the home tab here a wee second. Let's say that I have created my column breaks and maybe wanted to delete one. Now, those of you that did the last training will remember the wee show hide command on the paragraph group. If you switch that on, you'll see your column breaks. So let's say you didn't want a column break. So you literally go back to the column and press your delete key and you can start typing in the column. Is that okay? So that's how you'd set up a threefold brochure in Microsoft Word. Now, I'm going to close that. Folks, has anybody any questions before I move on? Don't be afraid to shout. Are you all okay? You all happy enough with what I'm doing so far?
Yeah.
Right. Are you bored stupid?
No, it's very good.
Okay. Right. The next one I'm going to do now is the, oh, sorry, I'll go back to the previous one a wee second. Okay, that's my wee twofold one. Okay. Now, let's say I want to add a watermark to this. So again, from the design tab, sorry, I'm just going to mute again. From the design tab, on the right hand side, you have your watermark option. So if I click on watermark, I'm going to go to custom watermark. You can add a picture. I'll add text initially. So I'm going to go to text watermark. In the text box, you have a list of different words, all in alphabetical order, that you can choose. But let's say I want to use my own text. So I'm going to say, right, TRAINIT. I want to use TRAINIT. And let's say I want to use purple, TRAINIT colors. I can choose the purple and okay that. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the watermark. And I'm going to say remove watermark. Back to watermark. I'm going to go back to custom watermark and we'll use a picture this time. So I'm going to go to picture watermark, select picture, from file, And just bear with me and go back into my MS Word. Oh, sorry, wrong documents. Word for Business folder. Let's say I want to put the TRAINIT logo on the back. Insert, apply, and OK that. And there you have your watermark in the back. I tend to, if I'm doing watermarks nowadays, I would tend to just put the picture in and use the formatting and send behind and then apply a watermark. But we'll show you the different options for doing that. Now, that's your A4 document, newspaper style column. I'm going to open another document now. I promise I will share it with you. So I'm going to go to Browse. Now, okay. Now, this is just a little A5. Now, you're seeing this mirrored, but it's just a wee A5 flyer type thing. Okay. So to set up your page for something like this, again, I'm going to go to a new document. Oh, sorry, bear with me one sec. Okay. All right, so new blank document. So if I'm setting up this wee A5 flyer, layout, again, from the page setup group, I'm going to the dialog launcher, and all I need to do here, see where it says multiple pages, the default is normal. I'm going to say book fold. I don't have to say landscape, nothing. Microsoft Word does it for you. So literally just book fold. Now, if you are doing the likes of this, whether it be multiples of, maybe you're doing an 8-page one, 12, 16, etc. The only one thing you have to remember, you have to work in multiples of 4. So that's first page. I'm going to create a page break by using the shortcut Control and Enter, Control and Enter, Control and Enter. So there's my 4 pages that I need for my little A5 document. Now, what I tend to do, and the likes of this, sorry folks. Are you all okay? You all with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so I have 4 pages here. So basically the first page will be the front cover. The second page will be the inside. Third page will be the inside right page. And then the last page will be the back cover. Okay. Now, just for mine, all I have done here is literally use one of the shapes. So I'm going to go to Insert, Shape, and I'm going to create a shape to cover the background of my page. Okay. Now, what I tend to do, folks, quite a bit is to use shapes and fill the shapes with images. A lot of people just go to Insert Image and put in their square images all the time. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to Insert Shapes. I'm going to use my oval. Now, okay, it doesn't matter if it overlaps. So I have my oval here. I'm going to go to my shape fill. Sorry, folks, I'm going to mute on a wee second. I've got my oval shape here. So I'm going to fill that shape with a picture. So if I go to Shape Fill, Picture, from File, and it doesn't really matter which picture I choose. Choose Picture, Insert, Now, okay. Now I'm going to remove the outline from the shape or from the image. So if I go to shape outline, I'm going to say no outline. I always think it softens the shape a wee bit. Now, if I want to add text in here, I would simply add text boxes. So it's insert text box. Again, I never use any of these preset ones for doing standard text box. So I'm going to say draw text box. Okay. Now you'll notice the text box by default is filled with white and it has a black outline. So again, I'm going to go to shape fill. I'm going to say no fill, shape outline, no outline. Highlight my text, go home, choose whatever font. And I'm just going to change. Okay, now all I'm really doing here is demonstrating it in terms of using shapes in your documents as well as other things. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up the header in the other documents. So if I double click in the header area, again, I'm going to go to shapes, insert shape, and I'm going to use a little wave shape. So say this one, and I'm literally, now again, this is really just to add a wee bit of interest. And I'm going to do the same at the bottom. Insert shape. And again, I'll use the wave, but I'll not do as big a one. And I'll maybe change the color of that. Started off with a plain document. Now, if I print that, just imagine I have text on that. If I print that out, I'll just drag this shape down a bit. If I print that out, I can go to File, Print, and where it says print one-sided, I'm going to say print on both sides. And on my printer, I also have to choose the option. It says print all pages. I would go in, sorry, from the printer properties, I would go in and say, look, print two-sided. Now, that prints out exactly as that one did, back and front. If you're working with a small standard printer, you will get an option for manual duplex if your printer doesn't do the automatic printing on both sides. And what it'll say to you, it'll print one side out and it'll tell you to turn the sheet of paper over. You literally turn the sheet of paper over, you click on OK, and it'll print the back side of the page as well. So that's actually quite useful. I've got phone calls at the last minute many a time from people that are maybe where there's weddings coming up or funerals or something like that, and they need something thrown together fairly quickly. Folks, that's the easiest way to set up one of those wee flyers, even if it's multiple pages, but you have to work in multiples of 4. Do any of you use that sort of thing?
No, but it's been good to use.
It's really, really useful. As I say, I have literally been caught many times just last minute. You know, people saying to me, look, Patricia, I need something, particularly for a flipping wedding. Not so long ago, I had somebody last minute decided they needed things printed out the day before. And again, had to set it up. But if you know how to set it up from the very start, you're not messing about. Literally go to your layout, go to your page setup, and change your option there to book fold. That okay? So hopefully that's going to save you time sometime. All right. Right, I'll close that a wee second. Okay. And I'm not going to save that. Anybody any questions?
No.
Don't be afraid to shout if you have. Right. Again, I'm in another new blank document. And I'm going to look at Smartart Graphics. So, okay. So I'm going to the Insert tab. And I'm going to Smartart. Now, you've all the different Smartart objects, and these are absolutely brilliant, and they really look very professional within a document. Now, I'm going to use a very basic one to start off with, say a cycle one. And I'm going to use the very first cycle one. It's called a basic cycle. And okay, that. Now, I tend to always work with a text pane rather than clicking in the shape and adding text to the shape. I prefer to work with a text pane. Now, most times your text pane will come up automatically. If it doesn't, if you look over in the Create Graphic group, you get the option for text pane. Now, I'll just get my wee spotlighter again. So, in my text pane, I'm going to type the first piece of text that I want to type in there. And I'm simply going to type the word 1. Now, don't press your Enter key. Use your mouse and click where it says text and put the next piece of text in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I need 7 of these shapes. So where I'm at 5, I'm going to press my Enter key. And you see how the new shape appears? 6 and 7. Now, let's say I've decided 4 is no longer needed. So again, in the text pane, I'm going to highlight the word 4 and just delete it. And you see the way it disappears? Now, if I want to, I can enhance my Smartart graphic that wee bit more. I'm going to go to Change Colors. Maybe use a nice colourful one. I can go to my Smartart Styles, change the style of the Smartart, just to enhance it a wee bit. Now, Smartart Graphics, absolutely brilliant. I can change the layout. Okay, quite easily. The one I find people have difficulty with, and that's the a company organization chart. So we'll actually do one of those with a number of different tiers. So I'm going to delete that. I've just selected and delete. So if I go to Insert again and come back to Smartart, I'm going to choose Hierarchy, and I'm going to choose the very first one and simply OK that. Now, again, my text pane is already up here. Now, let's say I'm starting with an organization and I'm starting with the CEO, the head book. And below that, we have director. Okay. Now, if I press my Enter key, I get another option. And let's say I have another director. I'm going to say director 2. Now, below that, we'll say director 3. Now, they're all the one tier, the one level. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to change the actual layout from the very beginning here. So if I go to Layouts, I'm going to use the option here, the labeled hierarchy. Now, this is one that you would use if you have multiple, I suppose, people at different levels. So the labeled hierarchy. Now, I'm going to change my page layout. I'm going to go to orientation, and I'm going to go to landscape. Okay, so I have 3 directors. So we'll just give him 1. Now, let's say director 1, there are 2 heads of department below him. So what I'm going to do at director 1, I'm going to press the enter key. Now that has given me a shape at the same level as director 1. That shape I wanted below the director. So using, just bear with me, I'm just going to drag the toolbar here. Using my options here from the design tab on the right hand side, I can go over to my create graphic and I can say, right, demote that level. So I'm going to say, right, demote him. So he's now below director 1. So I'm going to call him HOD. So head of department, I'm going to say head of department 1. Now let's say there's a second head of department for director 1. And he's, okay, HOD, and he's going to be number 2. Now, I'm going to go to director 2. And director 2 has 2 heads of department as well. So I'll press my enter key in the text pane here at director 2. Again, I've got a shape on the same level as director, which you don't want. So I'm going to say demote. And I'm going to say head of department 1, enter, head of department 2. Same thing for director 3. Press the enter key. I'm going to demote, and I'm going to be head of department 1, head of department 2. Now, you literally can keep adding here. Now, let's say I'll go back to the first head of department for director 1. And let's say he has someone beneath him, say he has finance. So again, I can go back to my text pane, press the enter key, and I can demote that new shape, and I can say finance. And let's say below finance, there's admin. So again, I press the enter key. My shape has gone in at the same level. So I'm going to type admin, and I'm going to say demote. Folks, do any of you work on that type of document?
No, but it's amazing how easy it is.
Honestly, it is really, really good. Now, I guarantee if you go to do this yourselves, to start off with, you'll end up using this one. And you say, what the? Okay, because that's what you'll get, and it's all over the place. If you have multiple levels and multiple shapes in each level, my advice is to use the labeled hierarchy. See the difference? Now, what I can do with that as well, I can literally resize that. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it? As I say, I have seen people spending, and I mean hours, absolutely hours, trying to do one of those. And again, you can go, you can be very fancy, change your colors. You can go over to your styles and show off and do a nice wee style. They're good, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm going to make you do homework for tomorrow. I'm going to make you do one of those. Would that be bad? Would that be really, really awful?
No, it would be all right.
Seriously, folks, I mean, I've done training in the likes of, you know, some of the councils and that, where you literally have multiple people at different levels, and you want to see, you know, people will make a hash of doing this. They'll spend hours doing it when you can actually do it very, very well, very quickly. Is that all right? So that's your smart art. You can change, if you don't like the layout that you've chosen, you go to more layouts, and it takes you back to all your layouts. You can change it to something else. So obviously I'm not going to change that one to a smaller one. There's some really, really good shapes there. I'll just show you. I'll delete that one. I'm going to go to Insert Smartart. Even the pyramid one. Okay. The old Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So again, choose your colors. It's good, isn't it?
Great.
I always recommend, folks, keep your text pane up. I find it much, much easier to use than going into your actual shapes. Is that all right? So
Yeah.
you're going to try that maybe tonight?
Yeah.
Maybe. No, I won't ask you for it, don't worry. But do try it at some stage yourselves. Right, so I'm going to delete that. So that's literally your Smartart. Now, I want you to look at a couple other things that are maybe new to the newer versions of Microsoft. You have an icons option. Now, what these do, you have little symbols. You might sort of think, well, what are they any different? I'm going to choose one here, okay? Right, so I've chosen one of those little icons. Now, watch as I make that bigger. Is there any loss of quality in it?
No.
None whatsoever. So that's actually new to the newer versions of Microsoft Word. So those are called little icons. And as I say, no matter how big you make them, they're not going to lose quality. So that's actually quite useful.
Mm-hmm.
The 3D models, this is actually really good. And I have to say, it's probably more useful in PowerPoint. If any of you use PowerPoint and do presentations, right, I'll open any of these. We'll see. I'll try and get one. There's a robot. Okay. So insert. Now, the 3D models, I have to say, do take up quite a bit of memory, so they do. I'll probably pick one that won't bloody go in, but we'll try it anyhow, and if not, we'll go back to the first one that's listed. Oh, that's okay. Now, see?
Oh, wow.
That's new. So it is. And you see them in PowerPoint? Absolutely brilliant. And they actually have their own animation. So you can apply really cryptic animation to some of those. They're absolutely brilliant. Now, you've got this, and if you have a look, you've your 3D model view, so you can choose, do you see?
Mm-hmm.
The different view for it, or you can manually drag it round. I don't think in terms of static document in Microsoft Word, you get as good a benefit from it. PowerPoint, love it, absolutely love it. So that's your 3D models, okay? Again, new to PowerPoint. Now, the other thing that you will notice up on my ribbon here, that if you look at your ribbon, you won't have a tab called Draw, and you won't have a tab called Developer. Now, those, again, the developer one, it has been about for a while, but it's not placed up in the ribbon as default. Now, we'll be using the developer tab, but we'll not be using it tonight. Now, one of the things I'm going to be doing with you tomorrow night is creating basically electronic forms, online forms, where you can actually type in form fields. You can do drop-down boxes, you can do tick boxes, and stuff like that. And we'll do that tomorrow night because there's a couple of different options for doing that. So that's the developer tab. You have a draw tab as well. Now, how do we get these? Folks, there's a bit of echo there. I'm just going to mute you all a wee second again. Okay, so to get these extra tabs here, if you go to your File tab, okay, we're going back down to Options. Do you remember the Backstage view that we were in earlier? And we're going to go to Customize Ribbon. Now, if you look over on the right-hand side, now if any of you are working with Word 2010 or Word 13, you won't get the draw option. you need 16, 365 or 19, and you'll get the draw option. So by default, there's no tick in that. So place a tick in that and bring it up to the ribbon. The other one I want you to bring up as well will be the developer tab. And the developer tab is one that we will use tomorrow night. So add both those and simply OK that. Now, I'm going to take you to the draw tab here, okay? Now, so what you can do with the draw tab, it's a bit like, I suppose, initially, the little paint application that you have on your computers. So you can choose a pen color or a pen thickness, okay? And you can actually just do, you think I was drunk? Okay, so just using, you can literally, now I suppose it is designed for touch screen where you can actually use your finger or you can use a pen, but you can use your mouse. Now, what I can do, I can go up to my eraser and rub that out. Now you might sort of think, well, that's very childish, you'd want to use that. Now, if we go to the one called ink to shape, I can say, right, okay, I want to draw a triangle. I want to draw a circle or an oval. I want to draw a square. And you see the way it actually creates them into the shape that you're doing. Now, if any of you use like symbols, mathematical symbols, or if you use fractions or decimals, this is a brilliant option to use. I'm just going to cancel that a wee sec. Folks, you can't see me, sure you can't. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go, if I just click, go to my eraser. So you're going to, right. You're not going to erase that. I'll go to ink to math. Right, I have a little area in the middle that says write maths here. So I can say a half plus a third. If any of you are homeschooling at the minute, this might come in handy. Equals, and we can say ignore my maths, but you get the gist of it here. So you can go in and literally write it, and you see the way it comes up here. And if I go to insert, that will actually insert those symbols into the document. Now, notice that you get other symbols appearing here. You get fractions, script. So if any of you are working with mathematical symbols, this actually might be a godsend for you at the moment. So that's the draw tab. Have a look. See if you have it on the version of Microsoft Word when you go back in this evening or go back into your computer this evening. If you have, go in and have a wee look at it. So do you see the way it's put in? The little fractions and that there. So it is quite useful. Right, Control now, select all and press my delete key. Okay. Right. How many of you would be, I'm going to unmute you all. How many of you would create long documents in Microsoft Word? Would you be doing like a table of contents? How many of you use table of contents?
Yeah.
You do use it? Good?
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Now, for any of you that don't use it, I'm going to take you back to basics on this to show you exactly how it works. So, table of contents. Basically, we work using styles. Styles are preset formatting, if you like, within Microsoft Word. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'll do a wee dummy document first, and then I'll open one of my older manuals, and then we'll create a table of contents, but just to show you how it's developed. So I'm going to do my equal round thing again, and I'm going to do 8,8. Just put my page back to portrait. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here, above each paragraph, I'm going to put a heading in. Oops, if I can type. So the first one will be paragraph 1. Okay. There's only 8 of these, so no pressure on me watching you. You're all sitting watching me. Just joking. Now, I could copy and paste, but so 4, I've only got 8. Don't worry about the layout of this, it'll work itself out. Okay, so I've got headings above each paragraph here. Going back to my home tab, I'm going to highlight my headings paragraph 1. I'm holding the control key down, highlighting the heading 2. Oops, not what I meant to do. Okay, I'm heading off here. 3, 4. Just by holding the control key and clicking 6, 7, 8. So this is going to be my main heading, if you like. So this is going to be heading 1. So I'm going to my styles group and get up to heading 1, and I'm going to click on heading 1. Now, again, Microsoft Word has a number of default headings or default fonts for these. Now, it's setting a Calibri Light. I don't like that as a style. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change that style for style 1. I'm going to go to the styles group. I'm going to click on the wee dialog launcher at the bottom right of the styles group, and I'll get a little styles pane coming up. That's my heading 1, that's selected. If I click on the down arrow to the right of my style heading 1, it gives me the option to modify it. So I'm going to go to modify. I'm going to choose Arial. 16 is fine. I don't want blue, I want black. And let's say I want bold. And when I OK that, watch how all my heading 1s have been updated automatically. Now, that's my heading 1s applied. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to do Control and Home. Control and Home is a shortcut that takes me back to the beginning of the document. What I'm going to do a page break here. So I have a blank page where I'm going to put my table of contents in. Now, my table of contents will go and look for any styles that I have created in my document so far. So I'm going to the References tab. I'm going to Table of Contents. And I'm simply going to choose the automatic table. Now, do you all see? See the way it has picked up all my heading 1s. Now I'm going to develop this a wee bit further. If I go back into my document, I'm going to click after the heading paragraph 1, press the Enter key. I'm going to call this section 1. Again, I'll do this now. There is only 8, so just bear with me. 2, 3. I'll just close my styles group there. 5, 6, And one more. Now, they're just normal font, normal style. So what I want to do then, I want to go in and I want to format those to heading 2. Okay, so again, from the Home tab, we need to highlight our headings first. So I'm holding the Control key down and clicking to select the section headings. Okay, and they are less important than the paragraph headings. So I'm going to apply heading 2 to those. Again, I don't like the style or the format that Microsoft Word have for heading 2. So again, I'm going to click on the wee dialog launcher at the bottom. I'm going to go to my styles, heading 2, click on the down arrow to the right, and I'm going to go modify. Again, I'm going to choose Arial. I'm going to choose 14. And again, black. Okay, and we'll OK that. So that's style or heading number 2. Now, if I go back up into my table of contents, it's already in my first page of the document. I'm going to click once within the table of contents and I get an option to update table. So if I click on update table, I want to say update entire table and OK that. See the way your heading 2s have been pulled in. Now, I'm going to add one more heading here. So after section 1, press the enter key. I'm going to say subsection 1, subsection 2. Three. Six. Okay, now we're going to go and highlight those subsections and they're going to be heading 3 because they're less important than the one above. 5, 6, 7, and 8. So again, back to my styles group, heading 3. Again, I'm a contrary so-and-so. I don't like the formatting that Microsoft Word has given me. So I'm going to go and choose my own again. So I'm going to my styles pane here, modify. Again, I'm going to stick to the theme of Arial, 12, and I'm going to say, I'll say bold and italic, and again, I want black. Okay, so I have heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3. If I click back in my contents, go to update table, update entire table, and OK that, and watch how Microsoft Word has pulled in all the heading 3s. Now, folks, I'm going to open a manual here, please, and just to see it. This is an older manual, but you'll see the gist of it. Okay, and I will share it. Now, I have text here, just my usual wee drink of vodka, as you all know by now. So what I need to do, I need to put a blank page in front of my text for my table of contents. So I have my cursor at the beginning of the document. Control and enter. Give me a blank page. Okay, I'm just going to, in my header, I'm going to use a different header here. I'm going to say different on first page. So I'm removing that header. I'll close my header and footer here. So I'm going to go to my table of contents, which, as you know now, is in the References tab. Table of contents. And again, I'm going to use just the first one here, just the automatic one. Now, so what has happened? Microsoft Word has gone through looking for all my styles within my document. So obviously the formatting one, the word formatting is heading 1. Text wrapping will be heading 2. Line spacing will be heading 3. Do you see the way they're indented there? Now, so we've got our table of contents. So what can we do with this? If you bring your pointer on the page number and hold the control key down, your pointer changes to hyperlink. So you can use the hyperlink. If you click, that will take you to an area within your document. So that's useful as well in terms of your table of contents. So if I do Control and Home, it takes me back to my table of contents. Folks, the one thing you need to remember when you are doing a table of contents, there's a couple of things that can go wrong with you, okay? Now I'm just gonna, again, unmute you a wee second. Those of you that already use your table of contents, do you have any issues at any time with it? Any problems with it? Does it always work okay? They're all being very shy tonight. Those of you that do the table of contents, do you use this format?
No.
Do you manually type it in?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I did that for years. So I did before I copped on how this worked. Does anybody use this?
No.
No.
Well, now though.
Well, definitely.
You make it look so easy though.
But it is easy. It really is easy. Now, I'll show you a couple of problems that you may have with it, okay? Now, for example, we'll say this text wrapping one, okay? So sometimes when you're highlighting, you accidentally go in and highlight a wee bit more than you should, okay? So we'll say like that, okay? And say that was heading 2. Now let's say you didn't realize that. And if I click inside my table of contents, okay, and I've got my update table, update entire table, and okay that. Now, do you see, that's not as obvious as what it normally is. But the likes of that, what you do, you simply hold the control key down and you use your hyperlink to go back to that. You see? And all you do is literally just highlight the formatting and choose normal, put it back to normal. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Go back to your table of contents and update table of contents, update entire table. Do you see it's gone again?
Yeah.
Now, that's one thing, just watch out for. In your table of contents, let's say you do see a paragraph as part of your table of contents. Don't panic, no stress. Literally hold your control key down, use your hyperlink and go back to the bit that's basically included in the table of contents that shouldn't be. So for example there, and you literally highlight it and choose normal, put it back to normal. The other thing as well, folks, you need to remember with your table of contents, if you make any changes whatsoever, always update your table of contents. I remember a number of years back, I was sitting asking somebody, what is such and such, what page is such and such on? And like in a manual, I generally don't work with manuals teaching, but I did this day and they said, oh, it's on such and such a page. And I looked and I thought, well, that's not right. So from that day, I would always check, just literally click inside your table of contents, update table and update entire table. And it could be that you've just added a sentence or two and your pages have run off a wee bit. How do you find that one?
Yeah, very
Good,
good.
isn't it?
Really
Very
good.
useful. Yeah.
Honestly, as I say, I used to flip and type them in, and then I thought, you plonker. When you realise how simple it is, but remember, it's styles that you're working on, and that's what goes into your table of contents.
Mhm.
Now, you can go in, I suppose, some of my more update manuals, I would tend to use headings 4 and 5 as well, you know, depending on the importance of them.
Mhm.
In these earlier ones, I would tend to use headings 1, 2, and 3. And a lot of you might find that 3 headings or 3 styles are basically all you need, and that's fine. If you use more than 3, it will pick up 4 and 5 as well. So that's your table of contents.
Very good.
No more typing it in. Now, on that same sort of theme, do you see what we have at the back? We have an index.
Mhm.
Now, the index is not something that you are going to manually type in. Okay? Your index is basically made up of words that you have what's called marked throughout your document. Now, your index is used, I suppose, as a guide or for speed of searching for things. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in, I'm going to have a look and see if there's something that's maybe not included. Right, let's say I want to include the heading. I'm not going to say create separate headers and footers. I'm just highlighting the words separate headers and footers. Is that okay? And let's say I want that in my index. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a shortcut, Alt, Shift, and the letter X. For any of you that can't remember that, don't panic. Go to the References tab, the same tab that you use for your table of contents. Do you see in the index group, you have an option for mark entry?
Mhm.
So if I say mark entry, okay, that is brought up that same wee box, okay? Now, I can say mark. So basically, it'll mark that one phrase in that one page, or I can say mark all. So if I have that same phrase used throughout my document, in the index, it'll say that's on page 12, 26, and 38.
Mhm.
Now, I would tend generally just to say mark. So I'm going to say mark. Now, this is where your document looks as if you've made a complete balls of it, because your show hide switch is on, and you can see your little mark entry in. Do you see there?
Mhm.
So if that's bugging you or really annoying you, turn your show hide off. Do you see?
Yeah.
It's all nice again. Push your show hide on, off. Okay? So I'm going to close that. And if I go down to my index, now click anywhere at all within your index. Now the update key is F9. So I've just pressed F9. And what I highlight there is separate. Do you see it? Do you see where I'm highlighting?
Yeah.
Separate
Yeah.
header and footer. Now, I'm going to go back a step. I'm going to literally delete this index so you can see how it's actually inserted. Is that all right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
So if I do a page break, but I'll delete. Now, I've manually put the heading index there, okay? Put the cursor below the heading. From the References tab, from the index group, see the option where it says Insert Index?
Mhm.
I'm going to go to Insert Index. 2 columns, that would be fairly standard, the 2 columns. I'm going to put a tick in the box where it says Right Align Page Numbers. And I always like my leaders, my little dots to guide my eye across the page. See?
Mhm.
And I'm going to say, okay. Just like that.
Oh,
So that's basically any word that I have marked throughout that manual. I literally have gone from page 1 or whatever and gone through and highlighted different headings. So I tend to use the shortcut Alt, Shift and X because I just find it quicker than going to the references and the mark entry. Is that all right? And then you choose mark, and then that will basically keep that heading so that it will appear in your index. You like that?
Yeah.
yeah.
I tell you, I'll be looking to see some absolutely brilliant documents after tonight. So say it does leave that. Table of contents, I have to say, leaves your document really professional. All okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to close that a wee second file and I'll close that document. I'm not going to save it. Now, couple of things that we did the last night, tables and tabs. Now, I'm not going to use the same examples, but I'm going to do a couple of things that weren't done the last night. Bear with me 1 second. So I'm going to open a document. And I'll open the tab exercise. Okay. Now, I think the last night what we did, we literally just did our little tabs with the ruler, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't do left, right, or anything like that. Sure, we didn't.
Don't think so.
No. Well, this wee exercise here basically is an exercise just where we have a right tab. Do you see where all the words are right aligned in the column? This is a left tab, and this is a decimal tab. Okay. So what we have here, I'm going to highlight. Do you all remember how to do your tabs? Will I do a wee quick run over just very quickly?
Yes, please.
For any of you
Don't
that
mind.
missed this, no problem. Right. The last night we did was like, I think it was a price list where we had an item on the left-hand side. We did like leaders to guide your eye across the page, and then we had a figure on the right-hand side. So we'll set one of those up. So put your cursor where you want your tabbed exercise to go. From the paragraph group, just click on the wee dialogue launcher, down to the tabs command at the very bottom. Your default tab stop is 1.27 centimeters. Like I said the last night, I tend to never change that because if you're setting tabs up, you're only doing them temporarily to override the default one. So I'm going to do a wee price list. Another reason why I have my ruler, why I find my ruler bar useful, I'm going to put my price over, say, about 14 centimeters across my page. So I'm going to put a tab stop, 14, and it's going to be a decimal tab because I'm going to put figures in and decimal points. In the leader area, I want little dots to guide my eye across the page. So I'm going to choose leader number 2, and I'm going to OK that. So we'll say the word T, tab, your leaders come up automatically. Pound sign, 0.50. And go on separate line, coffee. Press your tab key once. Your pound sign, 0.75. Crisps. Tab. And we have, what price is a bag of crisps these days? I buy them in multiple bags because I like eating plenty of them. Right, steak and chips. Tab, and it's $10.95. So that's basically where you're doing like a price list, or it could be a telephone directory or something like that. Now, this wee exercise I did up here, okay? I did a right tab, left tab, and I did a decimal tab. Sorry, folks, I'm going to unmute you all a wee second. So again, I'll show you how I did this. Now, so put your cursor where you want to set your tabs. Go back to the dialog launcher at the bottom of the paragraph group. Go to tabs. Now, if there's a tab stop already there, I would always clear that. I'm just going to use this example here to set these others. So this column here is right aligned. So I'm going to use a right tab, and it's going to be at 5 centimeters. So 5, and I'm going to choose right. Now, because I'm setting more than one tab, I'm not going to OK. I'm going to click on set. Right, the second one is going to be 8 centimeters, and it's going to be left and set. And then 15, decimal and set, and OK that. Now, if you look up in your ruler bar, there's your 5 centimeter right tab, your 8 centimeter left tab, and your 15 centimeter decimal tab. So I'm going to type the word, as if I'm just doing this from scratch, destination, press the tab key, the word month, tab again, days, tab. I'll just zoom this up a wee bit. Okay, press the enter key. I'm just doing, I'll do one line only. Denmark. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. July, Thursday, Friday, and 298. Okay, so that's basically how you can set your tabs. In highlight your tabbed exercise, if you want to move your tabs either to the right or to the left, you go up to your little tab stop up on the ruler bar and you physically drag it either right or left. Is that okay? So that's your tabs. Now, what I want to use this tabbed exercise for, I want to change my tabs into a table. Now, if you have a look at when I've highlighted this exercise, do you notice there's a wee bit of a space after the 409? Now, if I put my show hide on, that shows me that I have a wee arrow there, that I have pressed my tab key one time too many there. I don't need that wee tab. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go and I'm going to use my backspace key to get rid of that wee tab press. So I'm going to go back to my little tabbed exercise. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to convert this to a table. So if I go to the Insert tab, Table, Convert Text to Table. That will identify the number of columns. Now, if I still had that space there, that would have seen that I had 5 columns, okay, when really only had 4. So always make sure if you're doing this that you don't have any extra spaces or presses of the tab key. And all I have to do here is simply okay that. Okay, so that has basically converted that into a table. Now, if I go in the opposite direction, let's say I have a table and I want to convert it just back to tabs or just ordinary text. We don't go to the insert option this time, okay? What we do is we use the table tools area. We're going to go to the layout, and okay, I'm going to drag, sorry folks, okay. On the right hand side here, see where it says convert to text? So if I say convert to text, what type of text do I want to convert it to? Well, it was tabs to start off with. If I okay that reverses, it literally will take a table and format it back into whatever type of text that you want. Now, I'm going to open the wee table. Again, I'm just going to use the same one that I did the last night. And I'm going to be asking you people that were here the last night a wee quick question on this. So we'll see who was sleeping and who was awake. So if I delete this last column, and if I want to adjust the widths of my table, what is the shortcut I use?
Is it just dragging at the top?
No dragging allowed. Tut, tut, tut. You all thought this was great the last night, obviously not great.
Remember?
None of you remember.
Oh.
Right, I'm going to go to my table layout. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Auto fit. Now I tend to use auto fit contents first, and then I would tend to auto fit window.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can tell who looks at the video the next day. Okay, so again, I'm just going to recap on a couple of things because there was a few of you missing here for this, and tables are important. Okay, so this is basically a table, a continuous table that's running across 2 pages. Now, I don't have any headings on the second page, and I want to have my headings, and I'm not going to copy and paste. I'm going to highlight my headings. Again, from my table tools layout, I'm going to use the option where it says repeat header row. And watch how my headings will appear automatically. How many of you remember that? I'm nearly afraid to ask you now. Did you remember that?
Yeah.
What else were we able to do with the table that you didn't think we could do with the table?
Wasn't it adding the column?
How did we add a column or what?
Oh, it would have been adding the values in the column.
Numbers, yep.
Yeah.
So how did we do that?
Did we highlight I'm trying to think.
I'm really putting you on the spot tonight. Okay, I'm going to put a new row at the end, okay? Put your cursor basically where you want your result to go.
And it was
then,
auto formula.
That's your formula. Well done. And okay that.
Eventually.
Well done. You remembered that. So as I say, that will add. And if you click on it, you notice that turns grey, and that's what's known as a field. Now, I'm going to look at a couple of fields that you may use, say, within a document. A lot of people, particularly, I suppose, larger organizations, they will create like policy documents and all sorts of documents, and they're maybe stored on a server. And people are going in to look for certain documents and never find the bloody things. I'm as guilty as any for doing things like that. But what you can do, you can put in, say, footer to name the document, and put the location of the document as a field. So if I just double click the footer area of my document here, so I've just opened the footer area. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a field in. Now, we did use quick parts the last night, if you remember. From my header and footer options, I have quick parts. I'm going to go to field. Do you remember we used this for page number the last night? Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down to the field name called file name. But rather than just putting file name, I want to see whereabouts on the computer this is stored. So file name, add path to file name, and OK that. So that is basically saying where this document, this particular document is stored. So if you have that on the server, it will give the whole path to the server. Now, if you have something like that in the footer of a document, always go in and make it fairly small so that it's not in your face. Is that okay? So that's useful in terms of fields. Now, another thing people have difficulty with sometimes within a document, I'm going to open a new blank document here. And again, this is really, I suppose, for the last few versions of Microsoft Word. So you're maybe putting in the company logo. Okay, so I'm going to go to insert picture. And there I'll put my logo in. Okay, the logo goes in. You're trying to move it about. It's not going to go anywhere. It will go left line, it'll go center, or go right line without you doing anything to it. Now, with an image, I would always format the image. Most times I use the option for square. Now, if you look to the right-hand side of your image, you have a layout option command. If we click there, we have different options that we can format the alignment or the wrapping of the image. I'm going to choose the option for square. Now, what that does, that basically says, look, you can move the image anywhere you like, except, see when you try, look, see where I'm trying to shove it up into this, the header area or further up my document, or if I try and move down, it's not going to take me any further down or any further up. Now that can be a pain, so it can in the newer versions. To get round that, go back to where it says layout options. Do you see at the bottom you have an option where it says fix position on page? If you put an option there, just choose that, click away from it. Do you see? That is really useful, folks. I mean, I've sat working with images many a day and tried to move them, and it wouldn't let me because of these we anchor things. So if you choose the layout option, fix position on a page, that will allow you to move it anywhere you like. Now, you have the same problem when you put that in a header. So I'm going to cut that, Control Next to cut it. And again, if I paste it, because I have used the option fix position, but if you put it in as default, you'll not be able to move your logo any further up the page. So that'll get round that. Now, how many of you use headers and footers for putting, say, maybe letterheads or that sort of thing in? Would any of you use that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or would any of you, what do you do? Any of the rest, do you use headers and footers for logos or letterheads? as I say, that can be a problem. I'm going to cut that a wee second. Right. I'm going to test those of you that were here the last day. I'm going to create a few page breaks here. So I have 6 pages, pretend there's text. So we're going to do footer. We're going to do a footer. We're going to do a footer that contains the word health and safety, a page number, and the month May 2020. So, and I don't want the header or the footer on the first page. Anybody talk me through that? How many's asleep? That's why you haven't got the bloody camera on. You're all sleeping. You're all fast asleep. Right, shout.
It's insert the quick parts, is it?
Good woman, well done. Excellent. Right, so we're going to insert footer. All right. Now I'm going to edit footer. Is that all right? I'm going to go back here a wee second. Now, if you don't want your header and footer on the first page, what I tend to do, I tend to make sure I'm in any page, only the first page for doing the header or footer. So I'm in the second page here. I'm going to go to insert footer and I'm going to go to edit footer. Okay. Now, I'm going to put a tick in the box where it says different first page. Is that all right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say health and safety. Right. How am I going to get my page number in the middle now? Well, if I press my tab key, would that be a good idea to start off with? Right, I've pressed my tab key. The cursor's now in the middle of my footer area. What am I going to use now? Look up in your ribbon there. Can you see anything?
Insert page number.
Page number.
Can I show you what happens when you do that?
Okay.
What has just happened?
Oh, it's removed the health and safety.
Okay. So somebody give me the right answer there before we started. What do we use?
Right.
Oh, quick parts, was it?
Quick parts, well done. So go to quick parts, go to field, type P for page number. Okay, that. So you see your automatic page number. I'm tabbing again. And then I'm going to say May 2020. Now, I'm going to close the header and footer. I'm going to scroll back up to page 1. I have no footer in page 1 because I said different on first page. I have my footer on page 2, excuse me, and 3, etc., etc. Now, was that difficult?
No.
So, if you're adding more than one option to a header or footer, use your quick parts. Because if you use the option, I'm just going to open the footer here. If you use the option that says page number, it basically wipes any header or footer that's there. So always go into your quick parts. Okay?
Okay.
Now, some of the things that we're going to be doing tomorrow night on the quick parts is we're going to be doing auto text, where you maybe have a standard phrase and you're maybe saving standard paragraphs, and you literally are giving them a name, put the name in, and then press the F3 key. The standard paragraph will come in automatically. I would tend to use that as a signature. I have a physical signature saved on the computer as an image, and I would have auto text. saved where I type the word signature, press the F3 key, my signature will appear within the document. So as I say, we're going to be doing that tomorrow night and that as well. Do any of you use track changes?
Yeah.
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 It's useful. Again, I'll just run over that because I know there's a couple of problems that people have with that. So we'll have a look at that. Creating forms, just 1 second, I'm controlling home. How many of you have done something or have received something like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How the hell do you expect anybody to type over that? Like, flip's sake. In today's, now, what you really, I get these all the time, and I get them from really big organizations, and you get them maybe saying, put in your bank details, send in your details, and that sort of thing. You get something like this, you click on it and you start going, you know, like, bloody hell. So what you need to do, and you shouldn't have to do this, so you have to go to insert text box, draw a text box, physically draw a text box, say no fill, no outline, and then you click, copy that and paste it. And at this stage you'll hear me swearing like hell when I get these. So that's literally what you have to do.
Yeah.
So that is not going to happen from tomorrow night onwards. I'll show you how to do these properly. Folks, anybody any questions on anything that we have done so far tonight?
No, it's brilliant.
Now, as I say, we've only done part of the stuff. I mean, there's a lot more we need to cover. There's a lot in Microsoft Word, isn't there?
There was a lot more than I thought.
Folks, I do, as I've said this the last night, I would do skills assessment testing for a number of employers. And people literally walk in quite blasé about Microsoft Word and think, oh, I know Microsoft Word. And you see, when I'm watching people trying to do the simplest of things, I'm ready for pulling my bloody hair out. You know, even the simplest of things there. So as I say, I want you to be able to do things quicker and better ways. So I'm just going to delete this a wee second. I'm going to recap on one more thing from last week and we'll leave it at that just very, very quickly. The numbering. Have any of you tried the numbering from last week or not the last session for any of you that were here?
No.
Multi-level numbering?
Yeah, I did.
How did you find it?
I found it very good. Funny, I just was going over your last video, and it was very informative. But yes, it's so simple. Like,
Isn't it?
Yeah, it just makes everything, you know, and it looks so much better. And
I would say so. It is very, very useful, folks. For any of you that weren't here the last night, this is actually really, really useful. In terms of numbering, okay, let's say of all these paragraphs. Now, I'll add a wee bit of space and just so you can see them split up a wee bit. Now, most people use the ordinary numbering, the wee 1, 2, 3. Now, when you apply that numbering, your paragraphs will indent from the margin. Okay, do you see that? Just using the automatic numbering. So I'm going to undo that. We're going to use the multi-level list numbering, which is the third option over. And I'm going to use the 1.1. Now, that applies basic standard numbering. You might think, well, what the hell is any different from the other? Now, well, for a start, it doesn't indent from the left-hand margin. Now, paragraph number 3, I want it to be a sub-paragraph of number 2. So simply use your increase indent command. You see here on the paragraph group, increase indent. If we click once, see?
Yeah.
Let's say we want to make the next paragraph a subparagraph of the one above. Increase indent twice. See?
Mhm.
And if I just... How's that? Was that easy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see it, Alan, there?
Mhm.
Did you see what it did, Alan?
Yes, sorry, I was distracted for a
No,
second.
you're okay. I'll undo that. I'll do that.
Constant there.
Okay?
Yeah,
So,
please.
okay, so highlight multi-level list numbering,
Mhm,
1.1, okay?
mhm.
So I'm making paragraph number 3 a subparagraph of 2 simply by going up to my increase indent command. Click it once. If I go to the next paragraph, my increase indent
Mhm.
twice
Very good.
makes that. So I would recommend, as I said before, key in your data first, then highlight, then do your numbering.
Yeah.
Folks, have frazzled your brains for tonight.
No, that was great.
No, thank you,
Thank
Patricia.
you.
Are
Thank
you
you
all
very much,
happy?
Patricia.
Are
Thank
you all
you.
happy enough?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Folks, if you get a chance, I'm going to stop this recording.